Welcome back to the PainFreePerformance Podcast. I'm your host, Pete Insorello, with my co-host, Drew Coben. And we have the pleasure of being with Josh Levitan from The Lost Breed today. Josh, how's it going?
I'm good, man. It's a pleasure to be on. I appreciate y'all for reaching out.
Yeah, thanks for your time. We appreciate it.
No doubt.
So, Josh, we want to open up with just a little introduction about you, your past, and how you got to, opening up your company with Anthony and, kind of your story.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, man, I started off as, just a young kid who had a lot of, ambition and passion. I was always big into basketball, so that kind of was like the driving force behind everything I did. That was like my only goal growing up, was to play college basketball. I knew like the NBA and everything, that was a far stretch. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, my dream is to play college basketball and I want to make that happen. So, kind of followed that path, high school and everything, played basketball. Never really worked out too much. My dad was always big into working out. He still works out to this day. He's been lifting weights and stuff for like 30 years. So, he was always trying to push that for me, but I never really got into it. So, to make a long story short, when I was in college, I think it was my sophomore year, I had a tumor in my hip. So I had to get surgery during the summer, and that caused me to miss the whole season, my junior year. And it was big for me because my freshman year, I was at Southern Connecticut, and I transferred to Westfield to play basketball. I knew at Southern I wasn't ready. It was D2. I was 17 years old. I was like 165 pounds, and my body wasn't ready. Everybody was like older and everything. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna, I'll go to a couple of schools that showed interest. I'll consider them. Westfield was definitely one of them. So I reached out to the coach and got in contact. Then I ended up having the surgery. So like my sophomore year, I played that whole season. It was super fun. I was getting into games and, just being young and being my first year in college basketball, like it was just cool. Even in the playoffs, I was playing. I was like probably like the seventh man off the bench, seventh, eighth, so I was in the rotation. Yeah, so it was fun. And, right after that season was over, my hip was bothering me kind of the whole season. And I got it checked out, and they're like, yeah, it's probably just like a cyst or something. And at the time, I was even going to select therapy back then in West Hartford. Mm-hmm. I was working with Andrew. I don't know if he's still there.
Yeah, he is.
But, yeah, so I was working with him, and I went to a couple of doctors, and they're like, yeah, it's probably just a cyst, go to physical therapy for a couple of months, check it out. And then it was still bothering me once I finished. So I got it checked out again, and I got, x-rays and MRIs and everything. And they're like, yeah, something looks, funky in there. So, had a couple more tests. And then, yeah, it came out that it was a tumor, but thank God it was benign. So, yeah, that was good. So I had to just figure out, what procedure I wanted to do to get rid of it. And this, one doctor, he wanted to like drill through my hip and kind of like do his best to scrape it out. And, it didn't sound too appealing to me and my parents, because he was like, yeah, you might not be able to play basketball again, or, you might not be able to squat or, do different things, like different activities like that. And we were like, damn, like, as such a young kid, shouldn't have to do that. So we got another opinion. We went up to Yale, New Haven Hospital, got another opinion. And, the doctor was much better. He had a different procedure that he wanted to do. And we went along with that one, which was he wanted to dislocate my hip, basically remove it, take out the entire tumor, and then put my hip back on. And, that sounded a lot better, because the other doctor, he was saying that there might be a chance of it still lingering, because, he couldn't really see it all the way and everything. So we went with that one, and, it was a tough journey. I ended up missing that season, which was my junior year, which was big. And then, I came back my senior year. I felt like, so during that period when I had the surgery, I didn't have anything. I didn't have any basketball to fall back on. So I was kind of lost for a little bit. And then I started getting into the weightlifting. So mind you, I'm at school and I'm just going to the gym on crutches, and my friends are passing me dumbbells, and, we're like doing all these crazy programs and stuff. And yeah, that's kind of where it happened right there. That was the transition for me. And I was like, oh, like, this is kind of cool. Fitness is cool. And I just transferred like the passion I had for basketball and just like transitioned it into fitness.
That's awesome. It kind of sounds like you re-identified yourself through
Absolutely.
fitness and working out versus basketball.
Yeah, not for sure. And it was just crazy because like at that time, when I did come back, like I felt like I was in the best shape of my life. Like I put on some muscle, I was moving well and everything. But you know how coaches are, man. Like once a player goes, they just move on to the next guy. You're easily replaceable, especially at that level.
Right.
So, that's kind of what happened. And he went with the guys he had, and I wasn't feeling it. So like I'm doing my thing in practice and everything. And it just was taking too much time and too much effort to, like you said, kind of re-identify myself in that basketball position. So I had to, do all of that. And then it just wasn't worth it as a senior. I was like, yeah, no, I'm good. So I ended up quitting. I think it was like 7 games into the season. I ended up quitting, and then my relationship with basketball kind of changed at that point.
Man, Drew, doesn't this story sound familiar?
Yeah, we all have a very similar story.
Yeah.
So Drew and I both played college soccer, and it's just the mentality. It's what have you done for me lately? And if you don't perform day in and day out, it's you're so easily replaceable.
Yeah.
And then unfortunately, you lose your passion and your drive to keep working and keep pounding down on that grindstone, because it's like, well, what's the point?
Right. Exactly.
So
it was almost embarrassing, man. Like I'm like doing good in practice. I got the captain of the team. He's like, man, like I wanted to tell you, Josh, like, you were in the gym more than me this year. And I've never said that to anyone. And I'm just like, yeah, man, appreciate it. And I just, used to be low key with it. Like I said, there wasn't any social media and stuff, at that time really. YouTube was just coming up, but like I feel like a lot of kids in this generation now, like they do things just for the attention of it. So like, they'll go and they'll post their workout and stuff, and it's like, what's the intention behind it? And it's for attention in a sense. It's like, oh man, like, like they like that feedback. That's what they're kind of doing it for. At that time, it was just off of the love. Like I wasn't on Instagram or whatever the case may be, like, oh yeah, man, it's 5 a.m. and I'm in the gym. Like, no, there was no phones or anything. We were just in there just working, It was just for the love of the game. That's all it was.
I love that.
Yeah.
What was the rehab process like after that surgery?
Yeah, it was it was difficult. It was definitely difficult. Like I said, I was going to select for a while. And then even
back to select after the operation?
Yeah.
Oh, you did?
Yeah. So I had like a couple of different procedures I had to do. So it was interesting, man. So like the way they had to put my hip back together, I couldn't put any pressure on it. So like I didn't have a brace, a cast, anything. I just had crutches. Yeah. And the doctor was like, these are going to be your best friend. And I had to stay on them for 6 months, and I couldn't put any pressure on my other leg, or the entire procedure that they did in my hip. Everything would collapse. So yeah, man, it was difficult. I couldn't take a single step. And yeah, it was crazy.
Did you first start lifting weights when you were on crutches? Like that was your introduction to the weight room, was on crutches?
Yeah.
I love that.
That's great. That's phenomenal. So, I mean, it sounds like you first started lifting weights while on crutches.
Yes.
First of all, that's very impressive. I mean, like, I remember when I first started lifting weights, I was like looking everything up online. Like, how do I do this? You know what I mean? Just trying to figure something out.
Same, yeah.
But now you're on crutches. So like, dang. So you really had to work for it. So I guess like what happened after that? Like, because I think, like you said before the show, you opened up your own business, right? And that's a training business. So where, I guess, can you fill in the gap there? Like, how did you decide that this is what you wanted to do instead of basketball?
Right. I mean, it was just rewarding, like just the working out. You started seeing progress, in your body started transforming and everything. And like I said, man, like that same passion, like it was fueling the same fire for me. It was igniting that same fire. I'm like, dang, like I get to grind here, and it was a different type of grind. It was like individual, like I can do it at my own pace, and I don't have to worry about a team or a coach or anything. I can just be locked in and just do my thing. So once I started seeing like progress and results, I'm like, man, this is cool, you know? And then like after I graduated, me and my friend Ant, we got together and we're like the whole time we were like plotting on different things, you know, like, yeah, man, we should start something, or, you know, we have to kind of showcase, you know, the work ethic, because we feel like a lot of people, you know, especially like millennials and stuff, and, you know, kids we went to high school with, they were on the wrong path. They weren't, you know, going down the right path. So we were like, let's show them, you know, through hard work and through work ethic, you know, where you can get, you know, whether that's a body transformation or whatever. If you want to start a business or, you know, accomplish a goal or something, you have to put that work ethic in, no matter what it is, no matter if it's fitness, if it's school, if it's a sport, no matter what. So we just wanted to show that work ethic. And that's kind of when like social media was coming into play, you know, around that time.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so it's like that was kind of your new outlet instead
yeah,
of
that was the outlet. Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, that was it for me too. And I think Pete can relate as well. Like, it's just something to work towards now that we don't have sports.
Right. No, for sure.
It's something that we can relate to because it's hard work, like you said. And
right.
So like, I guess my next question is going to be like, is that kind of who you gear your business towards? Like people like yourself who are, you know, former athletes who are looking for that something to kind of fill in that gap in their life. Cause that's with me, like that's me to a T. And I feel like a lot of the people that I train are like that too. You know what I mean? Cause they're looking for that something. And honestly, those are like my favorite people to train.
Yeah.
I guess maybe like you could start with that, or at least like what's your favorite thing about your business? Who are you marketing towards? Like, who do you like to serve? What's your product, and who do you like to serve?
Yeah, man. I feel like the target audience for us are just, I kind of want to say like, you know, kids who have that underdog mentality, but I don't want to box us in just to that one group of people, you know, because I feel like anyone can relate to what we do.
Sure.
You know, like big time athletes all the way down to, you know, people who don't even play a sport and just want to work out, you know. So you know, I feel like it's a wide range. I feel like it's just a mindset thing. So anyone who has a mindset, who just wants to get better and just wants to do something, you know, for their life and chase a dream, or, you know, accomplish a goal, and whatever it is, it just comes down to the work ethic and just the mentality and, you know, the hours that you put in behind that. So like, that's why I say all the time, I'm like, whatever your craft is, just make sure you're working at it and putting in time and effort and love into that.
Yep.
You know, so that's like the most important thing. Cause like, I don't want to, you know, like a lot of athletes and stuff, they do follow us, you know, they see the jump videos and they see, you know, us doing different things and all this crazy stuff. That stuff is cool. You know, it went viral. It served its purpose, but that's not the reason why we came into this game. You know, we came in to motivate people and to show people like what you can do with some hard work. You know, you can really make your dreams come true.
Yeah. That's awesome.
So I feel like that's the biggest thing.
I love this story because it just exemplifies a growth mindset. You know, you had all chips stacked against you. You know, you had this life-changing surgery.
Yeah.
You know, you were, the game that you loved and the game that you devoted your whole life to was pretty much taken away from you from something that you can't even control. You know,
right.
The fact that you bounced back and developed this brand that is known across the world. Like, you know, you guys have 500,000 followers on Instagram, and like you said, like, you know, your message, it's not just your clothing line, it's not just, you know, who you and Ant are. It's like, it's your message, message that went viral. So I love that. I think it's just exemplary. It's awesome.
Appreciate that.
Motivation is the biggest piece of it for you guys, you'd say? Like,
absolutely. You know, like when we get those messages, you know, or when people come up to us like, man, you guys, you know, helped change my life. Like, I lost 20 pounds because I watched one of your videos. Or like, man, when I wear this t-shirt, you know, it makes me work that much harder. And, you know, like, those are the type of things that I do it for. You know, I speak for myself, you know what I mean? Like, that's what keeps me going. When someone messages me like, yeah, man, like that video and that thing you said on Instagram, like that sparked and changed everything for me. Like that's what I do it for.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
So you're providing like motivation. That's the biggest thing.
Yeah.
And then what else is it? Is it like workouts too, or what else are you got?
Yeah, for sure. It's it's different workouts that people can try. And we want things that have worked for us. Things that we've tried on our own and that worked and stuff. We want to share that with the people as well, and give them some knowledge on that.
Yeah, I love that. I feel like every time I train, I'm like, man, I got to put at least one thing in an athlete's program or like one of my clients' program. You know what I mean?
Right.
And a lot of it, it's like I wouldn't put something in someone's program without trying it on myself.
Exactly.
So I love coaches who are like that, who train themselves and test out their own programs. So I think that's super cool.
Have to, you gotta see if it works.
It's super cool.
Yeah.
I found, to piggyback off that point, I found that it's so helpful to do that, but as a coach, it's also like not counterintuitive, but it's like I'm no longer working out for myself. Like I'm working out to do this program for my client to see how it feels for them. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, cause even now, even for me, like I won't write my own program. I just picked someone else's program that I wrote, and I was like, yeah, let me try this. And then like make edits along the way.
Right.
I don't know if you guys do the same thing.
Yeah,
but.
no, absolutely. You find a couple foundations, and then like you said, you pick and choose different things, or you're like, oh, I don't like this exercise, or let's try this one, or let's switch it out with this one, or
right.
But yeah, you can always find a foundation and just build off of that.
I like what you said a lot. I'm the same way. Like I just follow a general structure for the most part. And like, I make sure like, these are my 3 big rocks. Like these are my specific goals. And then from there, I'm like, wow, I probably shouldn't pair this exercise with this one because that sucked. You know what I mean? Like, absolutely. I don't want this to suck for my clients, Yeah. So that's, but yeah, so what else? Because I know you said before the show that you do some challenges, some challenges too. And I thought that was super cool. So maybe you could go over those.
Yeah, absolutely. So the 30-day challenges, they're all shred challenges. Who can lose the most weight, or we call it like the best transformation. The best transformation takes home that first prize, and it's usually a $2,000 cash prize. There's 5 different places, so we give everyone a chance to win something.
That's cool.
Yeah, it's cool, and the workouts are just high intensity stuff. A bunch of HIIT training. Mixed in with some weights and everything. It was interesting because we did a challenge during the pandemic, but it was a home challenge. It was the first time, that we did body weight stuff. So it was a transition for us. It was different.
Yeah.
But it did amazing. It was like one of our best programs. I think it was just the timing of everything.
Yeah.
Because no one could, go to the gym. So, it was cool, but that was like one of our best challenges was the home challenge, with no weights at all.
That's awesome. Yeah. The pandemic had me thinking outside of the box all the time, training people. And I felt like I came out a way better coach. Like I do things so different now.
Yeah, no, it was definitely, we learned a lot from it. We had to adapt, and that's huge, especially in every aspect of life, not just fitness.
For sure. Yeah, I feel like I was just going to finish up on that thought. I feel like I see that on a daily basis. Like people saying, oh, XYZ happened during the pandemic, and now what? Now what?
Yeah.
For that direction,
Yeah. It was a crazy time period, man, because think about it. We have our own gym, right? Private facility. We've never had members, right? We've never had a typical membership gym. Everything was, used for our content. And, a warehouse to keep our clothes and, for us just to handle our business. So it was interesting. It's like we had the opportunity to work out in the gym while no one else could have access to a gym, right? But I'm like, I don't want to do that because I don't want to be posting videos and stuff while no one in the world has access to a gym. And I'm just the only one in there working out like, yeah, like, come on, like it just didn't sit well with me. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna do the home program myself. I'm just gonna do home workouts. I used to go to the field, grab like 2 pair of dumbbells and just get creative and just see how many different things I could do.
Facts. That must have taken so much discipline, because
Yeah.
I've seen your facility, and your facility is dope. And for you to like just be like, nope, not using it. I am putting myself through the cruelty that I'm having all of my clients go through with just body weight, high intensity stuff. Like that's discipline.
Right. It was, oh man, it was interesting.
You didn't even go and hit a few curls every once in a while in the gym.
I was like, no, I'm not gonna do it.
Come on, bro. We've seen those arms. We know that you were sneaking in some curls every now and again.
Man, I promise I wasn't gonna do it.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
My question for you, Josh, was how do you and Ant go about creating these templates? So, you know, you do your 30-day shred challenges, which is mostly high intensity. We talked a little bit before the show started about other programs that you run.
Yep.
I think one was like more like a bodybuilding type program, right? So how do you go about putting together those templates? And then is there a way or a form in which your clients can give you feedback? Like if something didn't feel well, or if they're not sure if they're doing it right?
That's a good question. Yeah, so, you know, we've done a lot of the workouts ourselves, you know, so we kind of know, you know, and as you know, trainers and stuff, you kind of know what works and what doesn't, you know. So that's kind of just what we go off of, is this experience. And then, you know, we'll look up, you know, different programs and everything, and, you know, pick and choose different things that sound right and feel right. And then we just go from there. But as far as the feedback, they can leave reviews and stuff, absolutely, on the website. Yeah, they can definitely do that. Or, you know, they can always message us and reach out. You know, sometimes it's not, you know, the easiest to get in contact. But, you know, I try to do my best, you know, in keeping in contact with everyone who leaves a message and stuff like that.
The online space is so difficult. And, you know, I've recently, with my business that just began a couple months ago, I'm also trying to get into the online business as well, of selling programs. And what I've been struggling with the most is finding a consistent way to give and receive feedback. So that's pretty much where the question stems from. Yeah, it's tough.
It's difficult.
Tough.
Yeah.
Do you use any sort of software or apps for your programs, or did you and Ant create your own template?
No, we just create them. We use Pages. Mm-hmm. And then we just go from, and then like, so like the exercises, we just make sure to attach videos to them. So if people are unsure how to do them, they can just click the exercise. Awesome. And then it literally shows them how to do it.
Love that.
That's pretty much it, man. Like the programs we try to keep them simple, you know, we don't want to, you know.
Simple works.
Yeah, exactly.
Simple works. Yep.
Yeah, for sure. So that's pretty much it about the programs, man. Like we just keep it simple. There's video demonstrations. And if people do have questions and stuff, they can always send an email. You know, they can always reach out via DM or anything. And like I said, I try to do my best to make sure everyone's questions are answered and everything.
Mm-hmm. How many people do you guys coach?
I mean, the programs is like the programs are hard to tell exactly. It's a lot, you know. It's because it's people all over the world. But in terms of like personal training and stuff, like I only had like a couple clients, probably like 8 clients or so.
So yeah, I was asking more about like the online stuff.
Yeah. So the online stuff is a lot. You know, the programs are worldwide, man. So like, when we drop a program, you know, anyone from anywhere can grab it and just download it. So I think that's like the cool part about, you know, having the whole e-commerce part.
Yeah, that's super cool.
Unlimited access.
Exactly. As soon as they download the program, they keep it for, you know, their whole time. They don't have to, you know, keep coming back like, oh, I need the next week, or I need the next week. It's just they have everything right in front of them. They can save it to their phone, save it to their computer, and just go.
How long are your programs? So if I went on your website and I wanted to buy a program, is it a month? Is it a couple weeks? What is it?
No, yeah. So we have a couple different ones. Like the muscle building program is 10 weeks.
Okay.
We have a shred program that's 8 weeks, and then the shred challenges are 30 days. So, you know, just a different variety.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but I would say on average they're about 8 weeks, so about like 2 months.
Yeah, nice.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
That's cool.
And the thing about programs that I've seen is like some people just take, like, if the program is 10 weeks, they'll create 1 week and then it'll be the same for the rest of the 9. You know what I mean? So like the whole 10 weeks, the workouts are the same. So it's like it gets like boring, and that may work for some people, especially for someone who's new to working out. That may definitely work, keeping them consistent, so their numbers and stuff can go up and they can keep track of that.
Right.
But I just feel like as someone who works out, I feel like that would get boring to me because I like to switch it up.
Of course. And I think what we do as coaches is we don't want to give people boring workouts, and we feel the constant need to give them something new every time.
Right.
But we always go back to the foundation of like, all right, so you don't want to squat every single time you work out, but we're gonna sneak in lunges, we're gonna sneak in split squats and different squat variations. To them it's totally different. For us it's still the same big rock.
Right. It makes sense.
You're right.
Yeah.
So you have this massive worldwide following. Everyone knows who the Lost Breed is and what they stand for. You and I talked a little bit about your facility and what's next in regards to that. But as far as your brand, like what's next?
Yeah, it's been difficult, man. Like just to say that, like running a business with friends and stuff is difficult. We've had our ups and downs, and I feel like right now we're currently in a space where we're working through stuff and on the way up. You know what I mean? Like it's been bad. Like if you go on our Instagram, we haven't been active for, a month or so. And, some people may be like, oh my gosh, like what's going on? But I feel like these time periods are important because you get to soul search and you get to actually feel what you want to do and listen to your heart instead of always feeling like you're on a timetable and you have to make decisions based on the business.
Yeah.
Right? Oh man, we have to do this, and the factory's gonna close, so we got to get our clothes order in, and different things like that. It's like we actually get to take time and be like, man, do we want to do this, and for how long? Like how long can this Instagram stuff last for? How long can me and you be in videos together for? And how long do I want to stay in Connecticut for? And we're getting older, man. When we were 21, 22.
Not me. I don't know what you're talking about.
Huh?
Said not me. I'm not getting older.
Right. No, I was just speaking like on us. Like we're just getting older, as a brand and as individuals. So like when we were 21 and 22, it was cool to always be together all the time. Kind of have that image, that we're best friends and everything. Right. Like as you get older, things change and you have your own life you got to take care of. So what's next for us? We're looking for a new facility, to start off with. That's like the first thing. And we just want to keep growing the brand. So like whatever numbers we're bringing in now, we just want to multiply those and just keep, leveling up. It would be cool to, I think, change the dynamic of the business too. So instead of keeping it the same how it's been, ever since we first started, it would be cool to start doing new things, whether we bring in some new athletes or something, and we create more of a team. Everything that we've done so far has all been in-house. We've never hired anyone, right? Like we create our own videos. We do the marketing, so like we package the orders and ship everything out, do the emails. So like everything is in-house, which is cool. It's definitely cool. But I feel like once you get to a certain point, if you want to take it to the next level, you have to start bringing in a team and doing things different. Yeah. So I feel like we're at that point now where we kind of reach like a glass ceiling. So like, it's like, all right, what's next? What can we do to level this up? Or what can we do to make this easier? Or, different things like that.
I just got chills because like, as we all know, whenever you go through some sort of setback or up against some sort of obstacle, once you get through it, your life just gets so much better, right?
Yeah.
And until the next bout of resistance comes, and then it's like another, shot up. And I feel like that's kind of like where you guys are right now. Like you've built this massive empire, and now like, I know you had some stuff going on at your facility, and there was a bit of a setback there, and like obviously there's growing pains, like you said, y'all are getting older and you have your own lives to think about. We're not 21 anymore, right? So the image isn't the same as it was 8 years ago.
Absolutely.
But Yeah, man, I feel like once you guys get through this little bit of resistance, it's going to be game over.
Yeah. I think the big thing is communication, man. Like, especially, you know, when you do start off as friends, I feel like the relationship transitions because money's involved and
Yeah.
you're trying to take care of other people. So, like something that Ant and I realized was when we would communicate, it would always be about business. You know, everything was business, business. Oh, what do we have to do? Oh, what's next? It was never even, what's up, man? How you doing?
Right.
Everything okay? How's it feeling? Like, you good?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It was never that. It was just, what's up, bro? Hey, what did manufacturer say? Yo, we got to get this done. Or what do you want to do for a video today? Is the friendship got lost?
Mm.
You know, we started not hanging out and stuff. You know what I mean? So like, we had to get through all of that, you know, and communicate about all of that, and you know, see, you know, man, hey, whatever happened, you know, affected me in this way, and be vulnerable with each other. I feel like as men, you know, in our egos, it doesn't allow us to be vulnerable with one another sometimes.
Right.
You know, and not to do that with everyone, but the people you care about. It's important because that's where the truth comes out, and that's where you're able to really connect with someone. So I feel like communication is like you know, one of the biggest things, whether it's a business relationship, whether it's a regular relationship with a girlfriend or something,
Mm-hmm.
communication is huge. You always, you know, you always got to do that.
For sure.
What are like 2 or 3 other recommendations that you would give to, you know, a group of young men that are looking to get into business together? Obviously, like you just said, communication is number one.
Yeah.
Any other like really big lessons that you've learned going into business with your best friend?
I personally, like, I don't recommend it because
Really?
yeah, I don't personally, because I feel like the roles in the relationship change, like no matter what. Like it, like you can, like people used to tell me all the time, Josh, man, be careful, you know, parents, you know, people, you know, older people, they would tell me, you know, be careful, you know, and I'm like, nah, man, that's my brother, that's my best friend. And I didn't want to hear it, but I started to realize it as the years went on, you know, you know, when money gets involved, and you know, like I said, you have to start taking care of other people, and you know, you start growing as an individual. It gets difficult, and I feel like the roles of the friendship and everything, it changes and it becomes just business.
Right.
So if you want to keep that best friend and you want to keep that relationship solid, like I wouldn't recommend going into business with like a best friend or something.
Sure.
And if you do, you have to set job roles from the beginning. All right, you're going to be handling this. I'm going to handle this. You know, even sign off on it. You know, make a little letter or something, write down the roles, and then have you guys sign off on it. And then in terms of equity, you have to be clear on that before you start. Because in the beginning, it's, oh yeah, everything, you know, we'll go 50-50, or we had 3 partners. You know, it was me and then another guy, Will. So we had to figure out the equity between 3 of us. You know what I mean? So like, I would say establishing that in the beginning is very important. And that goes along with the roles. So you can see who's doing what and what percentage they're getting, and you know, if they deserve that, or you know, everyone has to be open. And you know, we already know how trust goes. It's hard to trust people nowadays.
Yeah.
So you know, you can start off as, oh yeah, no man, like I trust you, and you know, everything is gonna be all good. And you know, shit could hit the fan, you know, a couple years down the line.
Right. I can see how setting boundaries is crucial
Yeah.
to maintain that
From the
kind of
beginning.
relationship.
Yeah, don't wait and go in. Oh no, it's cool. You know, we'll split everything. And no, don't do that. Make sure you have it down on paper and everyone knows exactly what's going on. And you can even get someone else involved, whether it's like, I don't want to say an attorney, but you know, a financial, you know, advisor or something, just so you know, you can have the correct advice moving forward. You don't want to get into a thing where it's like 2 or 3 years in the business and then you're trying to reestablish roles and equity and all of that stuff. Right. It gets confusing.
Trying to be like proactive instead of reactive. It sounds like with a lot of these things, even now, as you guys are moving forward in your business, you don't want to have to react to these speed bumps. You want to try to predict what's going to come, right? I think that's a big part of it. Because I worked at Crutches Sports Performance, right?
Yeah.
And the owners of that business are Eric Cressy and Pete Dupuis, and they were college roommates, and they started their own business. And so one of them owns more shares in the business than the other one. Yep. And they have clear defined roles. And there's definitely, I think you can see how their relationship has some of those things that you're referring to in terms of like the stress. And so, but they know who they are in the relationship. And I think it's taken time for them to understand that.
Yeah.
But one of the things they do, and I don't know if this is gonna be helpful for you, but they do a good job because, I mean, every gym I've worked at, like every facility I've worked at, there's always been people who don't get along. And like, there's always been that person who like talks shit, like behind your ear. You're always, I've never worked somewhere where there wasn't
every year, man. I feel like sports teams, like even jobs like travelers and buildings and stuff like that, they always have that type of, those type of things.
It's like, how are humans this way? You know what I mean? We're just so, we have to find something wrong with everyone. And then we got to tell someone about it. You know what I mean? And it's like, so, but I think what they did well was every week they would have staff meetings.
Yep.
And everyone got a chance to share what they were working on. Right. Like, so everyone would go up in front of the group, and they had a lot of interns, and they would talk about like what I'm working on. Here's how I think we can implement this. So everyone got a chance, they would have these in-services, or what they were called. And I think because clients would come in sometimes and like listen to the in-services too. And it was like, wow, these guys are actually trying to get better like all the time. You know what I mean? Like if I was a client, that's what I would see. I would see like these coaches are doing everything they can to make the best product for us, like all the time. And they don't do like advertising, they don't do any of that stuff. It's just people come there because of word of mouth. Right. So I guess, that's my question to you is like, how did you become so big? Is it word of mouth? Is it, I guess, how did you guys go about like advertising for your product?
Yeah, it was just the consistency. So like, if anyone is going to start up like this social media type of brand or be an influencer or anything like that, I feel like consistency is huge. You have to be consistent. And then you have to find your niche. And I think we did a good job at that, finding our niche and being consistent with it. A lot of our videos went viral as well, which kind of helped us, with the exposure. But like the core group of people who follow us and stuff, they like the message, and we were just consistent with that.
How did you come up with some of those viral videos? And what are some of those? I'm so curious, honestly. I think it's so cool.
There was a bunch of, Ant has some videos of him doing some really high box jumps and stuff.
Okay.
Viral. Then, I did some videos like, it was so funny, like smashing like pumpkins and watermelons on my
that's awesome.
neck and everything. Yeah, so yeah, it was crazy. And then just like pulling pickup trucks and stuff like that, jumping over tires and crazy stuff, man. That is dangerous for your body. I don't recommend it.
Yeah, but you guys appeal to like the ex-athlete who wants to do crazy stuff.
No, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun in the moment. It gives you that adrenaline. It's cool. It's just we didn't want to be known for that. Like, hey, that's the watermelon guy. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I think Ellen reached out to us one time via email. Like, not her personally, but her staff, and they were like, yeah, would you guys be interested in coming on and doing like one of the watermelon things? And I'm just like, come on, man. Like, I don't want to damage like the image of our brand and like to where it's like,
Ellen DeGeneres?
Huh?
Ellen DeGeneres?
Yeah.
No way. That's crazy. That's so cool.
You said no to Ellen?
Yeah, it was just like, I don't think it would have been good, man.
Obviously, that's not the demographic that you're
exactly.
I just think it's funny.
No, it was funny at the time. It was super funny, but it just didn't feel right.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You had to be a little pumped that she asked you though. Like,
at that time, like there was a lot of people, reaching out and everything. We were getting posted on ESPN. I got people calling me like, "Hey, Josh, I just saw you on ESPN," all that stuff. I'm like, man, this is crazy.
Yeah, that's nuts.
Yeah, it was going crazy for a while.
So all those jumps and, you know, pulling pickup trucks, and now you're a patient of mine.
Right. You see? I
Interesting.
can't do any of that right now, man. I ain't reserved.
It's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's originally how Josh and I met. You know, he's been coming to Select, and I've been treating him there, and has been doing really well. I haven't followed up with you after our visit on Friday, but how's your body feeling?
No, I feel good, man. I don't feel any pain or anything like that. I feel good. Yeah.
What was bugging you? I don't even know.
Oh yeah, no. I was doing legs and I was doing some squats. I felt some tightness in my back, and I was like, you know what, I'm not gonna, I'm done squatting for the day. Put it back. Went, did some lunges and stuff, and then I went to the leg press, and I don't know if it was like the way that the seat was set up, but like when I brought the weight down, I feel like it kind of lifted like my bottom half up, and when I pressed, like my right side of my back literally just locked up, and it felt like almost like paralyzed in a sense. So I had to just move the leg press up with my left side, clipped it, and then I was like, man, I'm done for the day. Like I can't, like I had to just remain still for like 10 minutes. So I don't know, what exactly it was, but I definitely tweaked like my lower back, like on the right side.
Yeah.
So I've been working. That's why I've been working with Pete.
You said like your butt kind of came up off of
Yeah.
the padding.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, like into like hyperflexion under load.
Right, exactly. You know how when you bring the leg press down, it kind of like lifts you up in a sense, and like I feel like the seat at LA Fitness was like up higher or something. I don't know. It was weird, but I feel like that's definitely like something that happened. But I feel like it shouldn't like that. I've never felt that feeling before, ever. And I used to, leg press is a common exercise for me, especially on leg day. I've never ever felt anything like that, and so it was just weird for that just to happen.
I think sometimes injuries are slow burning. You know what I mean? I think you like lose range of motion, and over time you build patterns, and then like it's not necessarily that one specific incident.
Yeah.
But I mean, I would recommend someone to let their butt come up off the leg press. Like I'd probably stop them shy of that. But still, I think
Yeah, I didn't mean for it to happen because remember, like I'm not working out at our gym. I was working out at LA Fitness, so like the leg press was different,
Sure.
It's
Yeah.
different than what we had. So like when I brought it down, I was like, oh wait, it just felt off. But I wasn't even
That's definitely
Yeah.
Yeah, just unfamiliarity with the settings and with that particular machine.
Yeah, it was super weird. Super weird.
Yeah, for sure.
But well, you're well on your way to getting back at it, so I have no doubt that you'll be right back where you were before in a few weeks.
Absolutely, man. I'm a firm believer in everything happens for a reason, So like I'm just, being open for everything.
Dude, I had this as just a side note because now I'm thinking about backs. I had a woman come in the other day for a pre-session, and she's been going to Yukon Health for PT, and she had a bulging disc in June, and she's been going to PT ever since. And she's wearing one of those like Sorolla belts, you know what I'm talking about, that like hold your SI in place.
Yeah.
Like she wears that around all the time. And I was like, all right, we're going to do an evaluation. We're going to go through some screens just to check out where your range is at. And I was like, all right, let's do a toe touch. She was like, no, I can't bend my spine. I was like, what? She's like, yeah, my PT told me I literally can't bend my spine. So I'm like, all right, I don't know what you want to do. I'm like, what? So like, what can you do? And she's like, well, she said I could swim and walk. I'm like, all right, well, why are you coming? Like, you know what I mean? I was just like, I don't understand, since June, how someone can't bend their spine, I guess.
No wonder why she's not getting better. I mean,
that's what I mean is like, I feel like a lot of these practitioners are just making people afraid to move. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And, that's not to get off topic, but that is one of my pet peeves in my industry is, clinicians creating this sense of fear to move. And it's like our bodies are not that fragile. They're just not. You know what I mean? And that drives me nuts.
Yeah. Sorry, I think I brought up the off topic, but
That's
it's been
okay.
I reached out to a few different PTs about it too, because I was like, is this like a thing? Like, shouldn't people have to like bend over and like put their socks on? You know what I mean? Like, how does that happen? How does she do that? You know, I just don't understand. Yeah. But
nice. So last question before we wrap up. So, you know, we talked a lot about Josh from the Lost Breed. What about Josh the person? Like, what do you have going on in your life right now that's exciting?
Yeah, I feel like that's a big thing for me too, man. Like a lot of people, they know me obviously, you know, through the brand and everything, but that's why like on my personal page and stuff, I don't always like to post fitness stuff. You know, like I do make music as well. And you know, I enjoy that a lot. It's like a beautiful outlet for me. So, you know, definitely enjoy that. And yeah, I have a dog, man. I have a Rottweiler. She's about 7 months, so that's exciting. And
A lot of work.
yeah, huh?
A lot of work.
Yeah. She's a good girl though, man. For real, she's a good girl. But yeah. Other than that, I just like to. I don't know, man. I just like to chill. You know, I don't always want to be in the gym all the time. I just like to be in nature and stuff like that, and just I don't know, you know, just I don't always want to be, you know, have to work out and feel like I have to be in the gym 7 days a week and everything. I'm like real big on that.
I think it's really mature that you're able to discern between those two things, you know, that you're not just this image that people see online, you know, like you are your own individual with your own hobbies and own interests that are not just weightlifting.
Absolutely.
Cool.
I feel like that's huge, and a lot of people I know are just all in it for the image. And again, I'm big on intentions, right? So it's like when people create brands and you know are on social media and you know posting different things, I'm like, what's the intention behind it? You know, like people do it for attention, they do it for that feedback, they do it because you know that's what kind of fuels them is feedback and stuff from other people.
They want to feel validated.
Exactly, you know, and I think a big thing for me for a while was like not trying to always feel like someone feel that they have to lift as heavy as possible all the time, right? And be like super strong and always like get PRs and stuff like that. Like I wanted to show people the realness behind it, to where, all right, man, like some days I'm just not feeling it. Like some days I don't want to be here, but I'm still doing this. You know what I mean? Like I wanted to show people that and just be real. Like I feel like a lot of these fitness people and stuff, you know, it's just like they're not being real. It's just a front. They're just doing it, you know, for the image.
Right.
I'm like, you know, let's take the gym away. Now what do you have? You know, let's take Instagram away. Are you still gonna work out?
Right.
Some of them won't because they're just doing it just for that.
Yeah.
You know, it's like it's not like I'm trying to knock anyone or diss anyone like that. It's just things that we notice along the way.
Of course.
You know,
so that's a valid point. You know, I think, you know, at least for myself, you know, my intention is that fitness and rehabilitation is just my vehicle, but it's not really what I'm out in that social media space for.
Right.
You know, I feel like I have a unique story about, you know, perseverance and tenacity and like, you know, literally doing whatever it takes. You know, you can go on my page and take a look at some of the stories that I put up there for, you know, me going through PT school and all this stuff. But like, for me, fitness is just a way to get my message out, you know, and I think there's a disconnect with some people where, you know, they don't understand that like, it's okay to use a platform, but, you know, people can tell when you're not genuine, and they can tell when, you know, you're just posting something to try to show off, you know. But it's obviously really clear that you and Ant are trying to get this message out. Like, I mean, you look at your hat right now, all grind, no glory.
Yeah.
So just being relentless and like, you know, sometimes it's thankless. The work that we do is thankless.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, we have to be okay with that. I think that's a really important message.
Yeah. No, for real. It is important. It definitely is. And I feel like that's why I always try to let people know that, you know, like that's like a big thing for me, because they can see the Lost Breed page and be like, oh, you know, it's such a big platform, and you know, he must be like this other guy who has 500,000 followers and a, you know, verified blue check and stuff. And I'm like, nah, man, I'm nothing like those guys. Like, you know, like lifting is cool, weightlifting is cool. Don't get me wrong, I love it, I enjoy it, but that doesn't make me who I am. I'm not a bodybuilder. People ask me, what do you do it for? Do you play a sport? Like, why are you working out? You know? And I'm just like, I'm not a bodybuilder, man. I'm just here to motivate people, inspire people, and just help someone fuel their fire. That's really all it is.
And you work hard, right? Like, you know,
Yeah.
you work hard, and if you work hard in everything that you do, and if weightlifting is something that you do, you're going to work hard at it. And that's why you look the way you look. That's why you have the results that you have, because it's just you working, and then the results coming as a result of the work and nothing else.
Right. And people are attached to the physical so much that they forget like about the mental. And I feel like, you know, having gone through a lot of things mentally and been in a lot of different mental spaces, I feel like that's the area I really wanted to capitalize on, was the mental part of it.
Yes.
Instead of always the physical. Anyone can do the physical stuff. That's cool, you know, but again, take that away. What else can you do? What else you bring to the table? You know, what message are you going to leave when this is all said and done? So, you know, I feel like that's it for me, man. Like, that's the biggest thing for me.
I can't think of a better way to wrap up this episode. That was absolutely incredible. Drew, do you have any other questions for our guy here?
No, man. So obviously we know where we can find you, right? It's the Lost Breed on maybe you can start with that stuff. Tell us where you're at.
Yeah,
go ahead.
Yeah, on Instagram, it's at the Lost Breed. That's the brand and everything. And then my personal page is at Josh Levitan. So yeah, man, those are the two places you can find me at.
Excellent.
Social media.
Awesome.
Yeah. Josh, thank you so much for your time today. We really appreciate it. Our audience appreciates it. And I think everyone, no matter where you are, professional athlete or someone that's just getting started back in the weight room, or, you know, someone like you who's on crutches trying to figure it out. So many different big rocks to take away from this episode. So thank you so much, man. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate you guys. Thank you, man.
Thanks.